Welcome back to the Dynasty Rewind, everybody. I'm your host, Michael Bauer. The best in the business is back in business. We are bringing in a special guest tonight. We're going to get to him in just a minute. But before we do, I want to say thank you to everyone that's subscribed to our YouTube channel. We have just surpassed 400 subscribers. Those are real, not bots. So I want to just take a minute and say big shout out to Bob Van Duzer. You can find him on Twitter at BobVan_IDP. I'll tell you what, he's been the guy that's really been spearheading the effort for YouTube. So hats off to Bob. Great work. He's more than just IDP. He's also SEO Speedwagon. Hit him up, call him Bobcat, Bobbert, whatever you want to do. So at BobVan_IDP, he's been doing a lot of stuff. And the great thing about our YouTube channel as well, it kind of gives the guys that aren't on the show, him, Maddie, Kevin's on there sometimes, Sean, you get to hear their thoughts on fantasy instead of just us. So check out the YouTube channel. We also have Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, all that other stuff. Check us out everywhere. Subscribe, rate, and review. When you rate and review this podcast, it helps other people find it faster. So go ahead and do that. And now let's introduce our co-host here. We got Pork. Pork, how's it going, man? You changed your name on the screen. I'll change it back then.
You always change my freaking name. Leave it alone, bro. No, I'm doing well. A little tired today, but I'm actually pretty glad that I get to see my boys today and super excited about Saturday.
Yes, and for those of you who do not know, Pork's actually talking about the Canton Fantasy Football Expo in Canton, Ohio. So make sure you make it out. We are booth 9 or 13. I can't remember, one of the two. Just look for the lights glaring off Pork's head. He'll be standing right next to Chevin Nooney. What's going on, Chev?
What is going on, boys? I cannot wait to finally meet everybody. It's going to be an absolute blast, man. I cannot wait.
It is going to be a good time. You can hang out and party with our very own Nate Christian. What's up, Nate?
Hey, I'm also excited. I've met Mike and Pork before, but everybody else just to face on the other side of the screen. So I'm excited to finally get to put my hands on Chev.
The boys.
Could we say that I'm hype about it? Am I allowed to say that?
Mike, is that my last name on your shirt?
No, it is.
Wow.
It's from the Super Bowl parade. No one likes
it. Says no one. Looks like Nooney.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nooney likes us. And let's introduce our very special guest. We got Mike Huff. You can find him on Twitter at the FF Realist, and he is one half of the FF Face Off. They do about 8 to 10 podcasts a week right now. Mike, is that what you guys?
Anthony does like 7 of them. I do like 1, but I'm really strong when I do it. So.
They do a great podcast. I was actually on there last year on Thanksgiving. My wife was not the biggest fan of that, but I decided to just do it anyway. We stayed at home that day. It was a great time. So definitely check out him and at the Real NFL Guru. That's Anthony Servino, Mike's co-host. Check both those guys out.
Yep.
Great friends of the show and great guys. But today we're talking about some breakout rookie guys that we are just comfortable starting from day one. So I'll tell you what, Nate, let's start it off with you because you're kind of down there in the bottom corner. Who do you got first?
Yeah, so one of my favorite breakout candidates for this year out of this rookie class is a second round wide receiver, Terrace Marshall. Love the Carolina Panthers offense. Last year it had DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, and Robbie Anderson all finished as top 30 wide receivers. That was with Teddy Bridgewater. I don't know if we consider Sam Darnold a big upgrade from Teddy Bridgewater. Maybe the same thing. Somebody might say a downgrade. But I think you can have at least similar production that Teddy Bridgewater gave you last year with a little bit more upside. And Terrace Marshall is a guy that is big enough and fast enough to play outside. He's a red zone threat, and they're actually using him a lot in the slot, which I think is just, gives him the ability to go anywhere in the field, be used in any kind of way, and just manufacture touches for this guy who, makes stuff happen after the catch. He's a guy who gets touchdowns, gets big plays. He gets behind the defense. And he's a guy that played both inside and outside in college. And I thought he would kind of just be molded into an outside receiver, but I like the fact that they're moving him inside, letting him show that versatility. He's a guy I think could have one of the better rookie seasons this year. And we're talking about him next year with Robbie Anderson on a contract year this year. We could be talking about Marshall as one of the top young wide receivers in the game for Dynasty.
His build kind of reminds you of Robbie Anderson too, doesn't it? Like tall, lanky.
Yeah, a little bit thicker.
Yeah, a little thick.
If I remember correctly, and we're going to have Sean go back and listen to the episode, and he can correct me. I believe I'd said that when he was at LSU, if he was not there, if he went to a different school, he probably would have just put up a lot better stats. Been maybe considered a first round pick, although he was still drafted pretty highly. But Chev, you got a breakout for us?
Yeah, so I think we got to temper expectations for this class a little bit too. I think a lot of the landing spots that they had were not the greatest, unlike some of the other landing spots that have been in the past seasons. But I think this guy landed in a spot that is just a whole bunch of unknowns at the moment. That's Nico Collins. So I know Matty Big Chest will love this. Nico is a big physical wide receiver that can go up and make plays for that Texans wide receiver core. We don't know who the quarterback is going to be for him yet, but somebody has to make plays in that offense. And why not Nico Collins? I think he's definitely got the athletic ability to definitely get some good reps during the season. Oh no, we didn't get Kev on.
I didn't know he wanted to come on. He didn't say anything.
Oh no. But yeah, I think Nico Collins is somebody that might be in a better situation to break out other than some of these other wide receivers, in my opinion.
Okay. I like Nico Collins, and we know Maddie is definitely going to be happy about that. And according to Sean, I was right, and I did say that. So you listened to that pretty quick, Sean. Kudos. So, Mike, you've listened to Chev and you've listened to Nate explain their breakouts. Do you have anyone for us yet, or did you want to just kind of chill a little bit?
No. I have a few I like, but I'll keep it close to my fandom with the 49ers, and I'll go Trey Sermon. I know it's the easy answer. I know it's probably a bit of an obvious answer, but I think that he's got one of the best paths to workload based on Raheem Mostert. I know Raheem Mostert went on Twitter and kind of fought back a little bit. Some people talk about him wearing a knee brace. He had to kind of debunk that and say that he usually wears it. It's not a big deal, yada, yada. But that being said, I don't think Raheem Mostert can handle a full workload. Everything out of camp sounds like Trey Sermon is getting the offense. I know Elijah Mitchell's doing well too, but he's going to be used in a different way than Trey Sermon is. So I think Trey Sermon, I think he's going to be good. The only thing that worries me about Trey Sermon, just at least from a fantasy perspective, is at least redraft. I'm sure it translates to dynasty with you guys. That ADP is getting a little high. But either way, I think Trey Sermon can have an immediate impact in that backfield.
I agree. I like it. I'm kind of coming around on Trey Sermon. He was actually one of the guys I had written down. I think he could be a 3-down back, tough runner, but an average receiving back.
I think if you throw Trey Lance in there too, I mean, that definitely helps him out in the running game for sure. I mean, that opens up so many more holes for him and in an offense that loves to run the football anyways. So I definitely like Trey Sermon for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to another Trey Sermon fan. Pork, you got any breakouts for us?
Yeah, I mean, this guy I'm just picking just based off of opportunity, and it's going against Mike's guy, and it's Michael Carter. He's running as an RB1 in practice. He's actually really killing it out there. But the thing that I do like is he can catch, which is good coming out the backfield. The defense is terrible, and Zach Wilson is going to need help dropping back the pass. I've been getting some on and off good things and bad things from practice from him. So it seems like he's going to just be relying on his security blankets, which would most likely be his tight ends and his running backs passing out of the backfield. They also bring in the offense from the 49ers with that zone blocking scheme, and they have a really good offensive line. So the offensive line will actually help him run inside the tackles. But I mean, people are looking at Michael Carter like he's a small back, and if they looked at the film, they can see that he can run inside the tackles as well as outside the tackles. So I think he'll take over that backfield and become a very wide known name throughout next year, dynasty purposes.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't see it. I think it's just one of those things. They're not giving Pirine the run because they just wanted him to get to the regular season healthy. That's why. That's what they do.
That's not what it is. You don't run him with the threes if you want him that want it to happen like that. So.
That's exactly.
Can we get a Pirine versus Carter bet with you guys, or is that not going to happen?
That's Mike. I'm pretty sure with it. I know you're not going to do it.
I'm not taking that bet. Hey, there's two realists on the show, both named Mike. So I'm going to keep it in New York, not the Giants either. We're going to stick with the Jets, and I would like to say I think people might be sleeping on the Jets just a little bit this year. I'm not picking them to, win the division, but everyone's like, oh, the Jets are trash, the Jets are trash, the Jets are trash. I think Robert Saleh is going to come in. He's going to turn around the defense. You're talking about Mike LaFleur, who tell me when him and his brother get together, they're not talking football. He studied under Kyle Shanahan. So this is a guy who knows his offense. I think they're going to put their players in spots to be productive, but I'm going to go with Elijah Moore. So as of right now, he's had good rapport with Wilson in camp. He's fast. He's elusive in the open field. The offense should be creative. They're going to have to be to win games in that division. And you hear what guys like A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf are saying about Elijah Moore, saying things on Twitter like he's one of the best wide receivers I've ever played with. And these are guys that we consider to be top-tier dynasty wide receiver assets. So Elijah Moore is a guy that I've been finding myself getting in, when my rookie drafts were going on, like early to mid part of the second round. And I think we could say that there's a possibility that he outperforms some of these guys that are getting drafted ahead of him.
Yeah, so, I was going to say, I think people need to remember too, by the way, because I know Zach Wilson had a tough night the other night in that, what was that green and white scrimmage, or, it was in front of the fans at night. Keep in mind, I mean, he hasn't been in camp that long. Remember, he was the last rookie to sign. So give a little bit of leeway there. I know people want to overreact, and it's easy to overreact on the Jets. I get it. I'm from the area. I hear it all the time on the sports radio. It's very easy. But, yeah, I do think, Bauer, I think you're right. I think the Jets will surprise some people here and there. I mean, they'll be like the Jets every now and again, but they're going to pull out some games here and there.
It's true. And I do think one of the practices that I know Zach Wilson was really bad in, I think he just got off his plane at like midnight or something like that, and there was early morning practice. It was a real quick turnaround time, and it's like, just imagine staying up late for a Monday night football game, and then you got to be at work at 7:00 the next morning. It's tough.
But we would usually bang out the next day.
Yeah, it's one of those things. We don't have 300-pound defensive linemen running at us either.
Why would he not be there though, ready to sign a contract? Like if it happens, why is he in Texas or wherever he's at right now? Why would he not be where he should be?
That's true. That's true.
That to me, some things like that just don't make sense to me. Like people will be on like yachts partying while their team's playing and whatnot, and then we got these people that aren't even at training camp. I don't get some of the goofy stuff that these guys do.
I think that's just like poor communication between the player and the agent.
Yeah,
and that has to come together. But with you being an adult and you understand, this is the life that you have to live. You should be in that area. You shouldn't be out gallivanting, doing what you need to do. You need to be getting ready for a training camp, even though you're not signed yet. You're going to sign eventually.
Right. Yeah.
The Mormon Manziel.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
I'm sorry. Does anyone else find it hard to take Pork seriously when he's just chilling in that rocking chair?
I'm just waiting for the fans to get bust out. I mean, that's all.
Are they right here?
I know.
It didn't get hot in here yet.
Fan Jefferson.
There we go.
All right, let's kick it back to our guest one more time. Mike, you got anybody else for us?
Amon St. Brown, too, out of Detroit. I get it. It's not going to be a prolific offense. And no, this has nothing to do with that highlight video of him hurdling a defender. I liked him before it was cool to like him, before that video dropped. I just think there's going to be opportunity there. I know Hawkinson's going to get a whole ton of targets there. There's a reason why I have him ranked so high at tight end. But I think St. Brown is going to get some work here, and he's going to get enough work to keep his production consistent and afloat. I could see him getting, solid amount of targets on a per game basis. I don't think it's going to be too many weeks where he gets blanked. And there's not a huge competition there at wide receiver. I don't care who they have there. I mean, they don't have the names they used to have. They don't have Kenny Galladay. They don't have Marvin Jones. They can't run the ball every single down, and they're going to be in some game scripts where they're going to have to throw the ball. So, so I think St. Brown's going to do some damage. I like him. He looks physical.
Yeah, and I think he was a steal in the 4th round for them, too.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm. What do you guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown? I know Maddie likes him.
I'd like Amon-Ra just based off opportunity. Like there's nobody else the hell there other than him and Hawk and Swift when he comes back from his little injury.
Quintez, come on,
man.
Yeah.
Quintez.
No.
Disease.
Again, it's just him. I do like Cephas, but just based off of athleticism.
Okay.
It is a podcast. I understand that, but when you come to talent, I want talent on my team and not, just somebody that sounds like a venereal disease, as much as say.
Let me.
So he wants a wide receiver that's about to retire. Got
You
it.
guys being a dynasty podcast, right? Like when do you guys emotionally cut ties with the rookie? Because you guys look at rookies when they're in college, when they're early on. You guys are watching the whole way. I'm digging in, a couple weeks before the draft, and I'm getting to know these guys, and you already know their freaking social security numbers. So when do you guys cut ties on that?
Mike knew all their nicknames and whatnot a couple seasons ago. So
the secret handshakes and everything.
I think it depends on the position.
Yeah.
Like running backs, like if they're late round running backs,
Okay.
if they haven't hit in 2 years, you got to be done with them. Because like late round running backs who haven't made much of an impact after year 2, I mean, the teams have already moved on with free agents and new draft capital running backs. So you got to, if P Ryan doesn't do anything this year, you got to move on. You're just hurting yourself. With wide receivers, a little bit longer, 3-4 years maybe, because they can take a little bit longer to hit. Same with tight end. Like, a lot of my rookie tight ends are the guys I have in my taxi squad.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of just fill up my taxi squad with first and second year tight end because those guys usually take 2-3 years to hit anyway. At quarterback, I feel like at quarterback, if there's someone you actually like, you're sticking with them through their entire rookie contract.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good point. It's hard, and a lot of times it's on a case by case basis. I was really high on Dante Pettis. The NFL wasn't. So sometimes you just have to know. And I think
I warned people that second year, no one listened to me.
Like part of the problem here with playing Dynasty is too, everybody, I understand that every player has a value, and 0 is a value in mathematics as well too. So even if it's nothing is something when it comes to value, just so everyone knows. I'm math really good. But the problem is people will either just try to sell too quick and get too little of value, or they hang on until a player dies on their bench. And you know what? Sometimes it's okay to just let a player die on your bench. That's okay.
Right. That's true.
I'm fine with that. Like if you have Julio Jones and nobody wants to give you a good deal for him, you're fine with just plugging him in until he retires, right? Because he's probably going to be productive.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
James Robinson's another example. So, don't be afraid to make moves, but don't force anything either. Because that's what I'm trying to say.
Not even with quarterbacks, like you can hang on to a guy for literally his whole career if he's doing as good as you want him to do. Like Drew Brees, if you drafted him, he stayed on your roster until he was done. Aaron Rodgers, he probably stayed on your roster. Like it just depends on when you think they're going to hit that decline. I mean, and the value that your league members have for quarterbacks. Like if they value them a lot in a 1 QB, then it might be best to sell them off and find somebody new because, 1 QB is super easy. So,
yeah.
Just
and like with quarterbacks, you said like Drew Brees and Rodgers. Yeah, those guys are Hall of Famers like Tom Brady. You're not always going to get those kind of guys.
Yep.
But even the guy like Phillip Rivers,
Mm-hmm.
you could have Phillip Rivers as your starting quarterback and been pretty well off for 15 years, So, you don't have to find the future Hall of Famer. There's plenty of, above average quarterbacks. Eli Manning, another one. Like they're not the best fantasy assets, but high quarterback 2 for most of their career, low quarterback 1 for most of their career. And it's a guy you draft and then you get to have value from for 12, 15 years.
Speaking of value, one thing I want to say is, did you know that if you refer somebody to dynastyowner.com, you get $10? Did you also know that fantasy sports was created to give participants the GM experience of a sports franchise? We're doing this right now. That's right. Go ahead. You could go, Nate. That's fine. But as fantasy sports became more mainstream with more accessibility to player information, it became more about who got lucky in the draft and who got to the waiver wire fast enough to pick up a player. So guys like Mike Huff made Dynasty Owner come to be. Those redraft guys. Traditional fantasy sports lacks reality and rewards luck. Don't worry, Mike. We love you. It is not realistic to only focus on player performance and to not consider contracts. Do NFL teams assemble their rosters without contracts? Of course not. What if you could create a game that was more like the real NFL? Allow me to introduce you to DynastyOwner.com. Dynasty Owner incorporates a salary cap and assigns players their real-life NFL contracts. It is no longer all about player performance. Every contract matters. 21 2021 season has already begun. Starting at $29, you can play a fantasy game that lets you face similar decisions that NFL general managers and owners face. Rookie drafts began on June 4th, and startups will run between then and September 10th. So sign up to play with friends all around the world. And when you do, visit the Dynasty Owner store to get your very own referral link. Every person you refer gets you $10. Start your dynasty today at www.dynastyowner.com. Come on back, Nate. We miss you. There he is. Hi. Chev, I'm sorry. I think I cut you off. What were you going to say before I read that?
That you're like the best host on the planet. I don't remember, man. I'm sorry.
Not even close, but I do appreciate that. Who else wants to give me a breakout player? Nate looks like he's got about 10 of them.
Always. But, I mean, I'll give you one. Chev's going to be upset, though, because this Justin Fields, you know, I'm talking rookie quarterback who could be a league winner. Might have to wait till week 6, week 8. But once Justin Fields gets out there on the field, he's going to be scoring a ton of points. He might not have 400 yards in a game because, the Bears have a good defense, but he's going to be efficient. It's going to be like, I could see him at points this year, having like Russell Wilson level efficiency. Well, he only throws for 220 yards, but he has 4 touchdowns and, 60 yards rushing. That's really good in fantasy football. And I think he has that level of a peak. I don't think he'll maintain that through his rookie year, especially like if he only starts, halfway through the year. But he's a guy that, if he picks up some steam going into the playoffs, he might be one of those late year breakout candidates. And, going into next year could be like a top 10 quarterback in Dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
Where is he getting drafted at in Dynasty right now? Do you guys know?
Probably like 12 or 13.
The quarterback 12 or 13.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. I'm up. He is right now going 13.
Okay. So, Chev, you're going to be a little bit more in tune with the Bears than us. I heard some people on Twitter saying he's going to start day one. It's still Andy Dalton's show beginning of the season, right?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to give it up anytime soon with Andy Dalton, sadly. But I wouldn't want to throw him to the wolves when they play the Rams week 1 as well. So I know they've had a busted up O-line this whole training camp. So not too worried about him not starting week 1, but the sky is the limit with him. I've heard so many great things about his leadership, his rushing ability, his passing, like everything is looking great. But I think what it's going to take, he's got to show it in preseason. If he can show it in preseason, he's going to be electric. Hopefully it'll be somebody that can make plays on his feet, just doing plays that as Bear fans, we haven't seen in God knows how long, probably never. I mean, you never know, but I think he's going to turn some heads in preseason, and it might push Nagy to start him earlier than Nagy actually wants to, I think.
Yeah. Hey, Russell Wilson did it. Remember they signed Matt Flynn to a decent contract, and Russell Wilson just came in, got the job, and he started every game for the Seahawks since.
Yep.
Chev, you got a breakout for us while we're talking to you?
Yeah, I think this is the easiest one to pick, and I'm gonna go with not Najee Harris. I'm sorry, that's the easy one too. I'm gonna go with Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts, I think, has the best opportunity out of anybody in this rookie draft class, especially with Julio going to a different team. That offense, to me, is going to have to throw the football a lot to stay in games, and he's going to be one of their main targets, I feel like, throughout the whole season. I mean, as a tight end, he's going to be a game changer unless they change it to him to a wide receiver, fantasy-wise. But I think Kyle Pitts has the athletic floor of probably maybe any tight end in the NFL, man. I think he is athletically just gifted and blessed. Mm-hmm. I think he is going to be an absolute terror to find somebody to guard him week in and week out.
Well, the Eagles get to try to do it first. So,
yeah, start Kyle Pitts week 1, boys.
Yeah.
4,400 on DraftKings.
At least Nick Gary's in there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know who they're going to put on him. Like, he's got the fans back, everybody.
Put that guy
Davion Taylor. I know. I ain't covering that bull. Too fast. Davion Taylor got the speed for it, but they don't got the height for it. So
yeah, I mean, he's the only guy I think of that they have that would be fast enough to cover him.
Yeah, but he's a little bit undersized, so that would be a little bit of an issue.
Yeah, I guess I don't even know. I don't even know who that they would have covered. Good question.
I mean, that's the problem with a lot of teams, though. They're not going to have somebody to cover them. That's going to be game changer for them.
Yep. All right, Pork, you good with the solo layout now?
Yeah, that's fine. So for my breakout rookie, I'm gonna go stick with we was talking about Eagles. Go with my boy Devonta Smith. Just out again, pure opportunity. There's nobody else there. Travis Fulgham hasn't been looking good. Greg Ward he's Greg Ward. He's just a serviceable guy. And Devonta Smith is gonna take over. Not Travis Fulgham, but Quez Watkins has been breaking out, but it's Quez. I'm not really sure if that's going to be something that we're going to be looking for. He's probably like the wide receiver 4 or 5 on the team at this point. Hopefully they just cut Hightower because I just don't like him. But no, he'll be there. But
looking like the
right. And Devonta Smith during practice before his knee strain, he's been roasting Darius Slay. He's been roasting everybody else in the practice field. And Jalen Hurts had a really good rapport with him, probably based off of college as well. But when he comes into the game, you can see he's one of the best route runners I've seen come straight out of college and go into the NFL. And just forget about I don't know how much he weighs. He's not lighter than Tutu Atwell, but he's like 167 or something like that, 170. That doesn't matter. If he's going to get open, he's going to get open. He proved it in college. He's going to prove it in the NFL.
So, if anything, he could gain some weight and play tight end in a couple years. I think that works out for everybody these days.
Like Jordan Matthews.
Yeah,
like Akeem Butler.
There you go.
All right, let's see. So Devonta Smith, so just Google search says he's 174 pounds.
Mm.
And Chatarius Atwell, also known as Tutu,
he's like 147.
He's 165.
Man.
That's a lie.
I'm going off.
Sure he like played at 140.
I'm not saying what you're saying. He's literally like a toothpick. They say he ran to the wall the other day and he couldn't get up.
All right, so
Toothpick
I
Atwell.
swear to Bob.
NFL.com has
Toothpick Atwell.
Just puts his hand up, waves the trainer, That's it.
Yeah. Help me, please.
Yeah.
NFL.com has Tutu at 155.
It keeps going down.
It has Devonta Smith still at 170.
Last time I weighed 155 was the day before my 21st birthday. That was,
Jeez.
That was it.
Good times, huh?
Yeah, since then, yeah.
Right. Oh, here's Sean chiming in. Waddle is 180, not far off Smith, and no one questions him. Well, I'm not a Jalen Waddle fan, so
That's a good point.
yeah, he's not on my list.
It's fair.
I think he's a best ball guy.
By the way, that Matt Flynn contract you were talking about, that was, I believe it says here, according to Spotrac, was 3-year, $19 million with the Seahawks. That's what it says here. So there has to be more money involved in that. Maybe, contract signing, yada yada.
Did he ever even play a snap for them?
Nah.
I don't think
It
so.
was just the preseason. He played in the preseason, and then Russell Wilson was just roasting everybody. And he was like, well, you can leave because we don't need you here.
Just hold open the door. That's it.
Yeah.
So you guys pretty much touched on everyone I have. I just got one last one, and then we could wrap it back around for you guys. Like I said before, people are sleeping on the Jets. I do think Zach Wilson's going to have a good year. I like the LaFleur Shanahan connection there. All the LaFleurs and now Kyle Shanahan. He's got a good arm, quick release. He's mobile enough. They're going to be throwing a lot too, because I don't think they're going to be a good team, but I think they're going to be an improved team. So, sometimes you could still be a bad team, but be a better team than you were the year before.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Yep.
So, gotta
Especially
learn
for
those
the Jets, yeah.
That's true. Yeah, what's it like being up there, Mike, and seeing Jets fans? Are they as bad as people say they are?
No. Giants fans are the worst. Sorry.
Okay. Dude, no.
I agree.
Sorry to Steffi Smalls. I know she's out there somewhere. And she's wonderful. But Giants fans, yeah, they're more, Jet fans are like Met fans. They're just they're just like walking around waiting for something good to happen, hoping and wishing, but
Like the Mets, huh?
Yeah, like the Mets. And let's not. You know what? Don't do that.
Wow. Wow.
I
Think
brought
that
it
was
up. You don't
sweet,
have
huh?
to acknowledge it. Yeah, it
Sorry.
was sweet, son of a. Yeah. Anyway, it was a sweep. It was a sweep. That's all right. Stevie's gonna knock some heads around this offseason. Don't worry about that. But
Okay.
yeah, no. But I do think the Jets will. I do think the Jets will make some noise. I wanted to ask you guys a question. What do we think about Trey Lance in year one, though? I know Dynasty, we like him for Dynasty, but because to me, I thought that Garoppolo was good enough and the defense was healthy. That Garoppolo's not that bad that he can lose his job right away. But all of a sudden, Lance looks like he's playing well in camp. Then you start to hear Shanahan say, well, he's going to get some snaps to saying he's going to be in the game. It just, we're going to keep inching closer towards it. I mean, like, would you guys be willing to take a stab at Lance in redraft year one?
Not as my QB1.
Nah, I mean,
Well, no, not yeah.
I think for him, I think it would just depend on the roster size. That would be something you can take like a little bit later. But I feel as though when there's smoke, there's fire. Like you said, they're going to talk about, he's outplaying Garoppolo, even though they did say Garoppolo's having a good camp too. But
Yeah.
Trey Lance is the new shiny toy. But for redraft, that's just a tough one. You might have to just play that one by ear. But if the roster size is big for that redraft league, whichever league that you're in, I wouldn't mind take a stab at him near the end.
Mike, would you like me to give you the advice I give everyone else when they ask me a redraft question?
Sure, I'd love it.
You should go ask the guys from the FFA side.
Oh, shit. Oh, no. All right.
Wow.
I'll
Redraft,
text Anthony now.
admittedly, I will probably just stay away from Trey Lance altogether. Redraft is a 1-year thing. So I want guys that I know are going to be on the field from the get-go and who are less likely to lose their job. So, I don't want to have to worry about, if I draft Garoppolo and Trey Lance, I'll be okay. Well, you could draft Patrick Mahomes and then back it up with Tom Brady later in the draft, and that's probably safer than taking a stab on Trey Lance, in my opinion. Although, next year on, because we could be looking at another Patrick Mahomes situation where Jimmy Garoppolo starts the whole year. There's always the possibility.
I think it's going to be a lot harder for the 49ers to give up on Jimmy G than it is for the Bears to give up on Andy Dalton, because I think it's sort of the same situation, but I think the Bears are going to be playing for Nagy and Pace's job, and I just think the Bears fans are not going to handle it very well. I think the 49ers are good enough to definitely win with Jimmy G, and I think Jimmy G's a good enough starter to keep them in games and let their defense do their thing. So I think it's going to be a lot harder for Jimmy G to lose his job than it would be Andy Dalton. I think Trey Lance may get in later in the season, but I don't know if it's going to happen unless Jimmy G is playing really bad or an injury takes place.
Could always be the injury because we've seen Garoppolo do that.
Yep.
Or it could be based off another team quarterback getting hurt, and they feel as though Trey Lance can start day one. They can get some compensation for Jimmy G. So it's you just got to play it by ear.
True. Does anyone else have any other breakouts for us? I mean, we know Najee Harris is going to be a breakout. That's why I didn't put him on my list.
Yeah. I'll do one for Bob. So Zaven Collins has been getting a lot of reps in Arizona. I've been at camp, and, man, that dude is built. He's a big son of a gun, and I think he's going to definitely be holding down that middle linebacker spot. I think Hicks might be on his way out unless they kind of change their defense up a little bit every now and again to switch it up on the offenses. But I think Zaven Collins is going to get a lot of play. And I think he's going to make a lot of big plays as well. I think his coverage is pretty good as well. So I think he's a guy to watch out for year one. And I think he'll be a big key to how good that Cardinals defense actually is going to be this season.
All right, look at that. Chev throwing down some IDP knowledge, man. I love it.
I go to training camp one time and I turn to IDP. It's ridiculous.
That's great. Looks like our IDP department is growing here at the Dynasty Rewind.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Chill.
I know. It's like you talking IDP is like me in the C2C league.
Yeah, I couldn't get in with y'all, man. I don't even get to watch college football on Saturdays due to work, so it's tough for me to, be engaged with all
Chev,
that stuff.
I'm literally guessing and looking at other people's lists. I was like, oh
See,
yeah, I'll go with this
So
guy.
easy. CTC is so easy. Nate's like, hey, that was a good pick. And I'm like, yeah, I just asked Kevin.
Yeah, Nate sends me a message. It was like, yeah, you took my guy. I was like, who the hell is that guy?
I'm over here like, hey, this guy goes to Alabama, running back.
Yep, click.
Done.
Smart.
And that's my C2C strategy. If anyone wants to know, I've heard of you. You go to a Power 5 school, going on my roster.
There you go.
Fair enough.
Hey, listen, a
Works.
little bit of a shorter show for tonight, but that's okay. So actually, this is a good segue to just tell everyone before we head out, get used to the shows being a little bit shorter. Coming up into the season, we're going to kind of, I don't want to say reformat, but you know that I talked to you guys. Oh, look at this. Sean saying, Chev Boyar IDP.
There's too much going on there. I can't even read that.
RD IDP.
That
I
is a
dig
lot
it.
of letters. It looks
That
like
sound like a robot from Star Wars or something.
Yeah, you can stick it on a t-shirt.
license plate. So we're not rebranding or anything. All Dynasty all the time. Basically, our shows in season are going to be like this. If you have any questions, drop us a line. We will gladly answer any trade questions. Starts and sits. You want to just go over to this guy right over there, Mike Huff. Him and Anthony Servino. They do a bunch of podcasts every week. It's usually in the evening time, 5, 6 o'clock. They will answer all your starts and sits for you. We will answer any trade questions. We're going to be bringing you a lot more Devy content as well. We're going to give Nate some free reign there and let him just go to town with some Devy guys. So, but before we head out, I do want to say, before we get to Chev, I want to say make sure you check out Underdog. Best ball is awesome. You best believe it, as per Bob. Use the promo code REWIND. You get $25. That's it. No catch. $25. If you sign up, let me know. I would love to do a slow draft with you. Can't do a fast draft because I just, sometimes the timing doesn't work. So, but before we head out, Chev, you got anything for us?
Yeah, I don't have a verse again this week, but my thing for this week is just live in the moment. You don't know how much time you have left on this earth. There's things like strokes and stuff like heart attacks that happen. You never know when your time's going to come. Live in the moment. Get off your phone for a little bit. Put your phone away. Live in the moment. Go out and watch a sporting event without your phone. Watch your kids play without your phone. Like, to me, it's crazy how many parents just give their kid a tablet and leave them alone for the rest of the time, or they're on their phones while their kid's playing in a basketball game. I see that so much. And when you see the kid just look at their parent while they're on their phone, you can just see it on their face, how disappointed and how sad that makes them feel. So just from what I've seen this last week and kind of what some things that I'm going through right now with my uncle, he actually had a stroke yesterday. So just live in the moment. You just never know what can happen in the next hour or so. So that's my words for advice for today, boys.
All right, love it, Chev, and great, great words from a great man. That's what I like to say after Chev talks here. Prayers up for your uncle. Hopefully everything works out okay.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So until next time, Chev, just tell everyone where we could find you on Twitter.
Yeah, you can find me in Cannes on Friday, but you can find me at Chev Boyardee, boy with an I.
All right, and we'll go to our guest now. Mike, thank you again for hanging out with us a little bit tonight. Where can we find you, and tell us about your show again before we go?
It's always nice to hang out with you guys. You guys are my favorite, but I still say that no one puts Porkman in the corner. So Porkman, you keep defending yourself, man. You don't let them jam you up too much. But yeah,
he's sitting in the corner right now.
I know that he's sitting there. He's not helping his cause. He's sitting in the corner. Yeah, I know it's not good.
Hey, it's Mike's fault. He always he's picks with me, but I just feel it's all with love.
I got your back. That's why I jump on the show every now and again, make sure everything's going all right. But yeah, no, you could follow me on Twitter at the FF Realist, and yeah, FF Face Off. We will most definitely be pumping out content now that my move is complete. I'm situated. Me and Anthony will be pumping out some shows, answering everybody's questions. And yes, if we have Dynasty questions, we shift them on over to you, bad boys. So yeah, absolutely. So check that out. And somebody here, feel free, Bauer, you've got my number. Feel free to FaceTime me from the bar so I could do a shot with you.
All right, that sounds great. I will gladly do that. And if anybody wants me to FaceTime with them from the expo, see what's going on, I would love to do that as well. Sounds great. So if you can't be there, I'll bring you in just for a few minutes. Nate, where can we find you until next time?
You can find me making sure that everyone makes their pick in the Dynasty Rewind C2C. Porkman, you're on the clock.
Oh,
Am I? No, I'm not. Am I?
You're on the clock, man. Who you
He
going to
just-
pick?
he just drafted that guy from LSU, wide
Yeah.
receiver, I think.
I did take a quarterback from LSU. I don't know who the hell he is, but I took him.
Max Johnson.
Yeah.
Great.
I don't know. What the hell? It's your fault, Nate. You freaking brought me into this crap.
Dude, it's great. I love listening to the Elite Seekers podcast, and Ben Eby's like, this guy's 2025 eligible. And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
How?
Like, how are you scouting this
Hey,
guy?
Max Johnson is the son of former NFL quarterback Brad Johnson.
Brad Johnson.
Okay, Brad
Oh,
Johnson.
I really am on the clock, though. Oh.
Pork, would you like to make your pick while on the clock?
I'm making a pick right now. I'm taking Danielle Nada. Don't know who he is.
Arizona State.
Yeah, running back, right?
Don't pick him.
Oh, he's picked.
So,
Oh,
Pork
crap.
has just picked the next Eno Benjamin. for his C2C league.
That was your boy. I didn't like Eno Benjamin.
Eno
You
was not
liked
my
him.
boy. No,
You
I,
did like Eno Benjamin.
I was not an Eno fan. Not that I remember. I remember
Yeah,
thinking he was okay.
You liked Eno Benjamin, like.
Uh-oh.
Saying he's okay means you like him.
Sean, figure this out. I'm sure I like somebody that didn't get drafted.
Oh my
I
god.
like guys that are so bad the Army won't even draft them. Until
That's
next-
terrible.
That's great. That's probably going to be put on a quote and tweeted out. Pork, where can we find you until next time?
Yeah, you can find me at Canton as well on Saturday, though. And at FF Porkman on Twitter.
All right. Yes. And please, if you're in the area, come check out the Fantasy Football Expo in Canton, Ohio. Bob Lung put it together. He did a fantastic job organizing everything. Come stop by the Dynasty Rewind booth. We are not bougie enough to be in the main hall, but we will be close to the stage. Come over. Tell us how he helped you win your championship. We would love to hear that. And until then, you can follow me on Twitter at Rewind CEO, but I would much rather you follow the show at Dynasty Rewind. And until next time, everybody, be kind, please rewind. Thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening to the Dynasty Rewind. Please make sure you subscribe, rate, and review. And as always, be kind, please rewind.